a young girl frantically scribbled numbers across a sheet of paper in her classroom. When her teacher noticed something was off and tried to get her attention, the girl remained completely unresponsive, lost in whatever compelled her to write. The teacher had no choice but to pull the paper away, but suddenly the girl's face turned ashen, as if she'd witnessed something terrifying. After class, the girl mysteriously vanished. When the teacher finally found her, the girl's fingernails were caked with blood, and a series of bloody numbers were scrawled across a door, making the scene even more disturbing.
Please, make them stop whispering.
Fast forward 50 years to the school's golden anniversary celebration. As part of the festivities, the administration opened a sealed time capsule and distributed its contents to current students. A boy named George received an envelope containing that very same paper covered in numbers from decades past. Almost immediately, strange things began happening. George noticed someone watching him from a distance, but when he blinked, the figure had vanished without a trace. That evening, George brought the mysterious paper home, hoping his father Paul, an astronomer, could crack the code behind the numbers. It didn't take long for Paul to make a shocking discovery. These numbers were actually predictions of catastrophic disasters that would befall humanity. While picking up his son from school one day, Paul suddenly noticed the GPS coordinates on his navigation system and realized the next predicted disaster was set to occur somewhere nearby. Paul hurried over to question a police officer about the area, but the moment he started asking questions, the officer's expression changed dramatically and he bolted away. Confused, Paul turned around and witnessed a scene that left him stunned. As this horrific accident unfolded before his eyes, he became convinced that the paper contained genuine prophecies of real disasters. The next day, determined to identify whoever had written these prophetic numbers, Paul tracked down the school's elderly former principal. Through the old man's recollections, Paul learned the story of the mysterious girl. Following the clues, he located Lucinda's childhood home, where he happened to encounter a woman with a small child. Paul deliberately approached her, planning to ask about Lucinda's whereabouts. To his surprise, this woman turned out to be Anna, Lucinda's daughter, though her mother had long since passed away. With no other options, Paul questioned Anna about the numbers and shared his discoveries. However, Anna became furious upon hearing this. She seemed unwilling to discuss her mother's past and suspected Paul had ulterior motives, so she turned to leave without another word. Paul desperately grabbed her arm, explaining that another disaster was predicted to occur in 3 days, claiming 190 lives, and pleaded for Anna's help in finding a way to prevent it. But Anna was convinced Paul had lost his mind and stormed off in anger. Feeling helpless, Paul returned home and used the coordinates to pinpoint the location of the predicted incident. Determined to stop the disaster, he made an anonymous call to the police, urging them to cordon off the area he'd identified. When the fateful day arrived, Paul drove to the prophesied location and discovered it was a bustling subway station packed with people. The authorities had clearly dismissed his warning entirely. Taking matters into his own hands, Paul boarded the subway in a desperate attempt to prevent the catastrophe. At that moment, a track malfunction caused an oncoming train to veer off course, sending the entire car careening toward Paul's train. Passengers frantically tried to escape, but it was too late. The prophesied disaster had come to pass, just as the numbers had foretold.